It's often said that the United States policies toward Asia have been erratic and sporadic. But if you look back through, since the administration of the first President Bush, right through Obama, Clinton, and the second Bush administration, which were very different administrations in many ways, there's a good deal of continuity about the goals and even the implementation of U.S. Economic and security policy toward Asia. Trade policy is always inextricably linked to U.S. diplomatic and security policy. And it's inevitable if you're not negotiating in the WTO, where everybody's at the table and all it is trade. If you start negotiating with individual countries, obviously the U.S. President, the Australian Prime Minister have to sort of calculate, well, not just in terms of our economic interests, but in terms of where does this stand in terms of the diplomacy of Asia, a security policy in Asia, those kinds of things. It was hard to pivot to Asia if you weren't going to complete the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement, which was pending when he came in office. And then, as the Trans-Pacific Partnership came forward, he had inherited it from Bush, actually. If he had turned away from it again, it would have been a symbol that the United States was kind of all rhetoric and no action. So it was actually foreign policy questions that really pushed the administration into taking a leadership role in the TPP. There are two visions of economic architecture out here. One, it's a trans-Pacific one, which includes the United States and maybe even some other countries like Canada and Mexico. And then there is a competing vision, which at times nations like Malaysia and certainly today the Chinese, Beijing pushes, of an intra-Asian, which does not include the United States particularly. And I think now Australia is in the nice position. It can have a foot in both camps, as it were. You can talk about just trade between Australia and China, and that's really growing, basically resources. But if you look at investment, which is equally important economically, the United States just swamps China in terms of cross-investment between the United States and Australia. Well, I mean, I think the key is going to be in the next year or so whether or not you can succeed in the TPP negotiations. And I think it's important for both countries to both put forward the proposals in their national interest but be ready to compromise.